let's talk about assignments. So to create an assignment, go to this assignments link on the left, and then click on plus assignments from the top right. All right, now we have everything we need to create our assignment. So the first thing we're going to do is give our assignment a name. This name will show up as a column in your gradebook, so make sure you give it a name that is easy to find and it makes sense. This area here, you can enter your assignment instructions. I'm just going to go ahead and paste some text in there. And you have the full range of the rich content editor. You can add links, images, recordings, attachments. You can use formatting. And then once the instructions are set up to your liking, you scroll down and you start working on your settings. So here's where you can select the number of points. Maybe you're grading out of 100 points per everything, or maybe you have a specific point designated. So go ahead and enter whatever point you want here. And then here under assignment group, you can pick what assignment group it goes under, and you set that up when you set up your gradebook. You can also select how you want the grade to display, whether it's percentages, complete, incomplete, points, letter grade, GPA scale, or not graded. I'm going to leave it as points. This one is very important. So under submission type, you've got 4 options. The first one is no submission, which means the students aren't expected to put anything online. You might make this if you just want a column in your gradebook and you're going to grade it, separately. Maybe it's student presentation, in-class presentation. So they don't submit anything, but you can enter a grade. Similarly, there's the on-paper submission type, which again, students do not submit anything online, but they do hand you in a paper, and then you would grade it and you would use this column in the gradebook to enter their grades. External tool is basically if you're going to be using Turnitin for a plagiarism checker or originality report generator, or VoiceThread, which is an interactive media discussion. So that's mostly what external tool is used for. But more than often than not, it's an online submission. And then you have choices, how they can submit online. Is it just text entry? It's just low tech, just a paragraph of text, no formatting. Is it a website URL? Maybe you've asked them to submit a URL of a YouTube video or a website or their portfolio or a published Google page or something. Maybe it's a media recording. Maybe you've asked them to record their presentation at home and then submit that media recording for grading. More often than not, it's a file upload. So in this case, I'm going to require them a file upload and nothing else. And then I'm going to restrict the file types to be PDF and PPTX. Okay, so I'll either accept a PDF or a PowerPoint presentation. On the next box, you can choose between unlimited or limited in terms of submission attempts. I'm going to give them unlimited attempts and only grade the most recent version. And then there's some optional settings. You can make it a group assignment. You can make it a peer review assignment. So if you were to do a group assignment, it would have you set up your groups. If you wanted to make it a peer review assignment, it would ask you, do you want to manually assign the peer reviewers or automatically assign the peer reviewers? And if you just want them to review one other student's paper, you put 1. And then the review deadline must come after the due date. So if I'm going to have the due date be March 10th, I'm going to give them over the weekend to peer review, and I'm going to make the peer review deadline March 15th, for example. And then the last option on the peer review is, do you want the peer reviews to show up anonymously? So those are some peer review settings you could consider. Anonymous grading setting is graders cannot view the student names. And then here in this last box, there's a lot of information. You can assign it to everyone in the class, or specific sections, or specific students. Here you'll give it a due date. I mentioned that I wanted to give them a week, and you can give them a due date time. 11:59 p.m. is one I use a lot. This availability window, you can enter, if you leave it blank, it's going to be available the whole course, which is what I prefer, but a lot of instructors will lock it down so that it's not available until Friday. Again, in this example, I'm going to leave this blank, but you could also consider changing the until availability window. So maybe we can make it 1 week past the due date, and then it goes away. Maybe you can make it the same date as the due date. Again, I like to leave it blank. Instructors really only need to use this if they need to restrict students' access to this assignment. If I had any other due dates, I could click that plus button, and it creates an identical field as the one before it, where I can give different due dates to different sections or to different people. I don't need to do that in this case. And then all I need to do is hit save. If I need to make any changes, I can just go back up here and click edit. And then once I have it to my liking, I can just hit publish, either through the save and publish or through the publish button at the top. And what that will do is that will add it to the course summary on the syllabus page. It'll add it to the assignments. And that is the basics of setting up an assignment. The only thing that I glossed over, I just want to go back to real quick, is this button right here, which is do not count this assignment toward the final grade. So if you were to click that, it won't count it in the total gradebook. Most people leave it blank, but I've seen it used a couple times if it's a practice assignment or in some situation in which you don't want the grades to count, but you still want to give them feedback. So yeah, that is the only thing I glossed over. So I wanted to come back to that. Go ahead and cancel. And watch the next videos on rubrics and SpeedGrader. Thanks again.